Hello all, welcome to Daily Current Affairs and Reason program from Team Enlight. Today we will be starting with the news on Nepal. Uh, we have been reading news about the political instability in Nepal for a few weeks now. Okay, anyway, we will be looking at the main perspective of the news, how Nepal is important for India, and what is the main perspective, what are the content that you are supposed to know from the main perspective. See, India's and Nepal's relationship is primarily built on the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1950, which allows Indian and Nepali citizens to settle down, buy property, and have businesses in either countries. This relationship is often romanticized as roti beti ka rishta, that basically a very close relationship uh, on the foundation of food and marriage, among other things. You should also know that Gujarat doctrine has been one of the foundational doctrines driving our relationship with Nepal. Gujarat doctrine is named after our foreign minister I.K. Gujarat, and this doctrine basically means that India will follow a non-reciprocal relationship with all its smaller neighboring countries. And this has evolved into what we call as a neighborhood first policy now. However, Gujarat doctrine is at the foundation of this relationship, and I would advise you to read more about it. There is a huge strategic importance to our relationship with Nepal because of how it is positioned in the Himalayan frontier. Also, because how it is the buffer state in case of any Chinese aggression, and also because of our cultural relationship, which we'll discuss later on. So, Nepal has a huge strategic importance in uh, in our diplomatic relations. Also, because of how Nepal has a huge importance in our multilateral partnerships. Anyway, moving on, trade and economy. When we discuss trade and economy, we should know that Nepal has a huge trade deficit with India. India enjoys a trade surplus relationship with Nepal. India is Nepal's largest trade partner, which is obvious because of the geographical constraints. It comes to hydroelectric projects such as those in the river Arun and in the river Karnali. India has also promised to buy the surplus power produced from these hydroelectric projects. When we discuss defense cooperation, you should know that India helps Nepal with its modernization projects, mostly of its army. And the special defense cooperation is also reflected in how India has Gurkha regiments and allows Nepali citizens to join Indian Army. This again is rooted in a historical Treaty of Sagali. I'll come to that later. Cultural relationships are mainly driven by people to people relationships and historical relationship, especially when you look at and Hindu religious and Buddhist religious traditions and relations between India and Nepal. When you discuss Buddhist relationship, you can also look into how Lumbini, which is the birthplace of Buddha, is located in Nepal. Then importance also includes a multilateral partnership, like I said before, in NAM, Non-Alignment Movement, BBIN, BIMSTEC, and SAARC. In all these multilateral associations, India and Nepal forming a common front. When we discuss challenges and concern, there have been various issues in the bilateral relationship. The one issue that has been most urgent in the recent years has been the border issue, especially of the regions involving Kalapani region, Limpadura, and Lipulik. These are regions in Uttarakhand, and then the Sasta area in Bihar. You have to important. The demarcation of these areas was as per Treaty of Sagali, and the interpretation of this treaty and the boundaries has led to this issue. Sasta area is in Bihar, these three areas in Uttarakhand. You can read more about it. When I said Gurkha regiments in India, I said Treaty of Sagali had an important role to play. Treaty of Sagali was signed after Anglo-Nepalese War, after a series of Anglo-Nepalese War in 1816. Treaty of Sagali allowed uh, recruitment of Gurkhas and Nepalese citizens into British Indian Army, which was continued even after India's independence. Okay. Internal security issue is another thorn in our relationship. Internal security issue primarily because of the open border, wherein various insurgents and terrorists in our country often fled to Nepal because easily fled to flee to Nepal because of the open border. So that is an internal security issue. Nepal's political instability has been proving to be a problem, as seen in recent months. This is a long-standing problem because of the political instability. We are struggling to have a stable, predictable relationship with Nepal. In the recent years, the China factor is also becoming important because of the increasing Chinese influence in Nepal's politics. And another serious problem for India is the anti-India feeling, uh, or the alleged Big Brother attitude of India. Uh, this aggravated primarily in the 2015 alleged blockade of India when Nepalese constitution was being formed. India's concerns were that Madeshis, who have close relationship with India and the Indian heartland, were not being given their due in the political rights. However, because of this, there was a huge anti-India feeling, because of which you can clearly see that now India has taken a decision not to take an open stand, not to take a stand on the political instability in Nepal. However, we see that China is taking up this space, as China is taking a mediatory role between the different factions in a ruling party in Nepal. So these are the main things that you have to know from the mains perspective in Nepal. See, in the mains perspective, especially in the international relations GS paper 2, this is an important area. Neighborhood policy has been already asked. From prelims perspective, you have to focus on like most of these areas, border issues in particular, hydroelectric projects in particular, and other defense cooperation, wherein you have Surya Kiran as a defense exercise. So on the prelims point of view, you have to prepare such factual things. Okay, moving on. GST. We already took GST Council a couple of days back. Today I'll be handling GST. There was an article on the end of road for India GST, which primarily looks into the GST compensation and the issues going ahead for GST. But I'll be taking GST primarily from the prelims point of view. The GST Act came into being by the 101st Constitutional Amendment Act in 2016. It brought into Article 246A, which concerns GST in Constitution. GST is a value-added tax. It's levied on goods and services. It is an indirect tax which is paid by consumers but remitted to state by the businesses. It is a destination based tax. Basically, it is taxed at the consumption place. It is a consumption taxation as opposed to the origin based taxation that existed before GST. It is a dual, the taxation system is a taxation system wherein you have components of both center and state, center GST and state GST. And you should also know imported goods are also applicable under GST. The rates of GST, there are various slab rates and rates. Both of these are decided by the GST Council, which has a dedicated constitutional article under 279A. As of now, we have four slabs: 5%, 12%, 18%, and 28%. Exempted goods, this has already been asked in prelims. What are the exempted goods, or what are nil rated under GST? Fresh fruits and vegetables, meat, raw silk, jute, cotton, newspaper, fish, etc. See, although it has already been asked, you can still be asked what are the common articles or common use products which come under 28% of taxation. What are the common products that come under 5% of taxation? So you should be prepared with it. Then you should know about non-taxable supply. These are the goods that are not directly still not directly taxed under GST, which are petroleum, crude, natural gas, ATF, which is a fuel used in turbine fuel used in aeroplanes. Then there are certain other things which are out of GST ambit, specifically mentioned in the Schedule 3 of GST Act, which is also referred to as negative list of GST. I would ask you to go through this. There are a list of items which are in the negative list of GST and are outside the ambit of GST. GST results in various reforms over previous tax system and advantages. What are these? You can say that GST leads to the formation of a common market across the nation. It avoids cascading of taxes, thus reducing the tax burden on citizens. Uh, it makes Indian products, both goods and services, more competitive, and it has also resulted in increasing tax compliance and it reduces tax evasion. So these are the various reforms and advantages. What are the challenges? This has resulted in reducing state autonomy in fiscal matters. States are losing their say in fiscal matters because the GST Council decides most of these rates and appropriation. Manufacturing states have lost a huge revenue chunk because of this new system. And also, you see that there is an increasing trend of center imposing cesses, which means that center gets all the taxation amount that comes under cesses, and states lose whatever is charged under cesses. So this is an issue with GST. Okay, these are the challenges that come under GST. Okay, there are various aspects under GST which can be asked for mains as well, especially from the aspect of cooperative federalism, fiscal federalism, and GST Council. These are hotspot areas for UPSC, which UPSC can ask. Moving on. For location, we have taken Kaveri Basin today. We have taken Kaveri Basin because of Mekedatu road that was in use recently. Mekedatu project has been in use for a few days now. Anyway, we look into the tributaries of Kaveri as a mainly Hemavati here. You have Shimsha here. You have Harangi here. You have Kabni, which originates from Kerala. You have Bhavani, which originates from Kerala. You have Amravati. All these are right hand tributaries. Himavati, Shimsha, Arkavati here. This is Arkavati. All these are left bank tributaries. You have various important dams. Hemavati Dam here, Kabni Dam here, Bhavani Dam here. Then you have Metur Dam here, which forms one of the largest reservoirs in uh, Kaveri River. You have KRS here, Krishnaraja Sagar Dam. And you have Grand Anicut Dam here, which is one of the ancient dams built during ancient Chola dynasty, built by great King Karigala. Another important thing you have to remember is from the map location, UPSC also likes asking which are the important tributaries. Other than that, they also like to ask which are the important national parks which are lying close to this, or important cities such as Bangalore. You can see Salem. You can see Tanjavur here. So, which are the important cities? Which are the important national parks? When we discuss national parks, you might know that Kabini flows through. Nagarhole National Park. Bhavani passes through Silent Valley National Park. So this is the way of preparing for prelims. I think that's all for today. We'll discuss more news in the coming days. Thank you.